Said I have Fati Attahiru. She's the Deputy Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Program. Very warm welcome to News 9.
Thank you very much.
The first question that comes to mind is why the documentary to portray the resettlement? What do you intend to achieve with this?
Right, thank you for that. We feel that documentaries are a very powerful way of sending messages to people and portraying people's stories, people that are vulnerable and not having access to be able to have their voice heard. It's also an inspiring way of telling stories. So if you've watched the docu-film, you'll find that the story of Amina, Falmata, and Hassan is portrayed in such a way that people are inspired. We see hope. We see an opportunity where people's lives are turned around to the positive. I see also the part that we did in Ngarannam, the homecoming. We ensured that all the stories that were told in that docu-film were done in a very dignified manner. So yeah.
And for the Borno state government, you know, it took them, you know, the support by coalition of partners too, yes. Which of course you're the arrowhead to make the dream of these resettled communities and the people in the Northeast to come to reality. Are they really coping and, you know, with the occasional incursions by bandits, terrorists coming back there? Are they really well secured?
Yes, thankfully they are. So you mentioned the coalition. The coalition is led by the government of Borno State with the support of UNDP and other development partners, namely the United Kingdom, the government of Germany, the government of Sweden, the government of the Netherlands, and the European Union. So one of the key components that forms the basis for us to be able to establish the Regional Stabilization Facility in communities is the assurance from the government that there is relative peace and calm in those communities. So this was one of the criteria for us to be able to rebuild those communities. But in addition to that assurance, we have partnerships with the military and the police to safeguard that community. The community on their own end have also set up vigilante groups that support this
security activities around them, yeah, to secure them.
Right.
Okay, another key issue, you know, settling 5,000 people. I'm sure it's like a pilot project.
That's right, yeah.
In Ngarannam,
yes,
right?
That's correct.
Is that what are you looking at to take root, you know, to be firm on the ground for the short term, medium, and long term? Looking at the plight of these resettled people, a lot of orphans, a lot of widows. Am I right?
That's correct. That's correct.
So what's the long-term plan, or short-term, medium, and long-term plan that you want to take root among these 5,000 people?
So ultimately, in the long term, what we want for them is to be self-sufficient and economically empowered. So in the short term, we have set up businesses for them. We've done a lot of trainings and provided grants for the people in the community. You will find that a lot of the people there are farmers. They deal in livestock and small businesses. So we've been able to give them livestock to start up businesses and to be able to have farmlands. We've given them seedlings and farm produce to be able to go ahead and set up. So we have made some measures in the interim, but in the long run, the whole idea is for the people to be self-sufficient and economically empowered. The
main root causes that led to their displacement in the first place, how much, you know, as stakeholders now, because I know you can't do it alone and you don't even have the forces to do it, how much as stakeholders, you know, putting together to prevent such occurrence again? I remember you talked about some kind of collaboration or assurances from the Nigerian military and security agencies and some vigilantes again. But tell us more that this is not going to be a failed project.
Yes, we've put in measures to ensure that this will not be a failed project. First of all, we need government ownership from the federal government of Nigeria. So the federal government of Nigeria chairs the board of the Regional Stabilization Facility with the Minister of Finance, Budget and Planning as the chair. We also have commitments from other partners in government, including the military, the police, the ministries that are relevant to this development. In addition, the federal government of Nigeria has contributed $1 million to this project, in addition to funds being contributed by other donors in this project.
Okay, I mean, that's gladdening to know. How about essential services, healthcare, education, you know, setting them up? Some of them probably were just itinerary farmers and traders and the rest, and you probably want to move their business a notch or two up and the rest. How much of these provisions have you made?
Okay. So the Regional Stabilization Facility is an integrated program. Integrated because it takes care of all the key components of a community. So not just having people move back to the community in their homes, but we also have infrastructure. We have water supply, we have solar power, we have hospitals and healthcare provision, we have schools for the children. In addition, the government of Borno State has taken it upon itself to ensure that the teachers and the security guard aides, the security in that state have accommodation so that they ensure that they stay within that community. So that's part of the things that we're doing. The key for the Regional Stabilization Facility is to build back better. So as you would see from the video, the houses are a lot more better than the ones that were demolished during the insurgency.
So it's like a 3Bs, build back better.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah. So you'll find the houses are a lot stronger, are a lot better. And we've also been able to go a notch higher to get the people more empowered. So we've given them skills, we've given them grants, we've given them livestock, and basically doing whatever they're doing better so that they're settled well in the community. I had been to the community, so they had moved back in October, and I traveled back some months ago and was quite pleased with what I had seen. People were living their normal lives. You know, market days were very bubbly and lively. We had people from neighboring communities even come into that community to benefit from the water supply that we had provided. So I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good indeed. But, you know, the question again is, are you going to replicate this model in other communities? I mean, there's been, you know, like a pilot scheme.
Of course, we are.
Okay.
So our target is to do 15 of these communities and stabilization programs within the Northeast. Like I said, the
time frame? Do you have a time frame?
Yes, within the next 18 months.
Okay.
Yes, because the whole idea was to do the pilots, get the lessons and the best practices from this program to be able to not do the same, whatever mistakes we have in this program, to not do it in the next one. Also, this covers other parts of the Lake Chad Basin. So we have similar programs in Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. Yeah.
So this creates a lot of employment, even for the people that are being resettled, if you've equipped them with the enabling skills. I'm talking about the artisans, for example, and even the itinerary traders who would come cook and the rest for the workers. And is that the kind of field you have? Yes.
Interestingly, Borno is known for hat making, and that's one of the pastimes of the women in that community. So there's a huge market for hat making in that community that's been revived. Even colleagues at the UN are patronizing that business. Amina, for instance, is quite good at making caps and has made quite a few for colleagues. So yes, there's a huge market. There's also patronage from other communities around Ngarannam. So yeah.
Well, that's quite interesting, and yeah, the people of Borno State and Nigeria in general were happy that peace is gradually, coming to that area and the rest. So thanks so very much, Fati Attahiru, Deputy Resident Representatives of the United Nations Development Program, with these novelty that the UNDP and other stakeholders have started. Thanks for coming to me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.